Good morning. Welcome back to the Alexandria Museum of Art and Rapids Regional Medical Center's morning Qi Gong. This is the Levi Tai Chi School. We are proudly hosted by AMoA every Saturday morning at 10:30 here. We are, of course, leaving the live feed, those of you who can't join us. And Rapids Regional Medical Center is our gracious sponsor. They give us a wonderful grant to keep us in the museum and are looking at extending the Healthy at AMoA program, which I'm part of. As we mentioned before, if you have any input on what you might like to see as part of the AMoA programming, let us know. Let the museum know, let me know, let someone know who's in charge, and we can make it happen for you. You may notice I still have some of the crazing on my camera glass. Apologies for that. We're looking at trying to get it replaced. We're still getting on that process. So hopefully next day or so we'll stop having this weird shadow light play across the camera lens. That is entirely my fault for dropping my phone. Also, if she doesn't mind, I'm sure most of you know Georgia Fox by now. Georgia's been a student of mine for years and years. It's been nice to welcome her back today. She's been gone for 2 weeks. Her mom had knee surgery, knee replacement, which if you've never had one or never been close to someone who's had one, that is a very extensive and very painful surgery and recovery. So we're going to dedicate today's class to Georgia's mom and a speedy and efficacious recovery. Like I say, efficacious. I know I've never had one myself, fortunately, but I've been around a lot of people who have, and I know both the surgery and the recovery, the physical therapy afterwards are extremely painful. So our heart goes out to her and to Georgia, who's dealing with her, and we do hope that she has a speedy recovery from that. All right, so I was thinking this morning as I was looking out the window waiting for us to all get here and begin class, watching a lady out on the levee walking down the beautiful weather outside, and she had a little dog she was walking with, and the dog was way out in front of her. I mean, it was a good block ahead of her. I thought at first the dog was stray because it was all by itself, no leash, no collar, and was way up the levee. And then she came up behind it, talking to it and calling to it. And the dog, of course, is being a dog. It was staying ahead of her. And I thought what a wonderful metaphor that is for how our minds function. Our minds are so good at being way ahead of us, especially when off leash. They will go where they feel like. And we are often left calling and calling and calling, please come back, and sometimes they do and sometimes they don't. It is an effort to keep that little wild dog of your mind close, especially healed. And what we attempt to do here in some small way is to curb that enthusiasm for running off of our minds. Our minds are tremendously good at running away and getting way ahead of us and exploring new avenues that may come to nothing, usually come to nothing, I should say. So when we practice our mindfulness, when we practice staying focused on one thing, when we begin our form, we begin breathing, we focus our breathing, we focus on our inside, whatever we do to focus through the form, we're training that little dog to stay at our feet, walking with us, rather than ranging way ahead of us, where it's not useful. Beside us, we have a little more control, we have a little more safety over the dog, over our mind. We can direct it. If we turn suddenly right, it's going to follow us. It's not going to keep running up the levee and head off after some bird or something. So, like training a dog, if you've ever trained a dog before, our mind training is similar, but longer term. We don't train as easily as dogs do, unfortunately. If it were that easy, we'd all be doing it probably. So don't get distressed, don't get disgruntled, don't get disheartened when the training doesn't go immediately well. When you click the clicker, the dog doesn't come. It's going to take a while. It's not a fast process by any means, but it is a worthwhile process, and it's worth the practice. We've been covering this week, it seems, coming back to the idea of staying with this, of not giving up after a few weeks, a few months, This is a long-term practice. Training your mind and your body is a long-term practice. It is not a thing of immediate revelations and immediate rewards. It takes patience, and it takes a certain stick-to-it feeling, a certain stick-to-itiveness in your attentions and your activities of training your mind. So if you are having a rough spot, and trust me right now, having rough spots is status quo. This is a giant rough spot. It makes everything else more difficult. So if you're just starting out, if you're still in the middle of your practice and you're still having some rough spots, it's okay. It really is. It's normal. Stick with it. Remember, focus day by day. Focus on the steps, not the end of the journey. Don't focus about how far you have to go. Look at your step in front of you. Worry about today. Take that one step and do it again tomorrow. And continue. So, for our first step, ladies, let's begin with our first sow, and we will take our step. Lifting the heavens. Breathe out. Gaze is backwards. draw a bow. Breathe out. Stars fall to earth. table. Quan Ti sits on throne. Breathe in. And stamp the earth. Well done, ladies. Well done. You at home, staying with us. It's good to have you. Charlie, happy Saturday. Good to have you along. As you can see, it doesn't take much in the short term. We invest 30, 35 minutes, depending on how slow we go through the form, to train a little bit. Not a great deal, just a little bit. And we do that daily. Half an hour is not so great a sacrifice. The exercise itself is not difficult. I tell people, honestly, the hardest part of this whole thing is simply moving slowly. And if you're just starting out, you know that's the truth. Going slow is difficult. Doing it for half an hour, not a big deal. But when you look long term, you look down the road, all of a sudden that puppy that was a block ahead of you and going in his own direction while you're going down the hill is there beside you a lot more often, is there when you need it, is not flustered, is not frustrated, is not running off constantly barking at birds and squirrels. It takes time, Patty. It takes time. Nothing worth doing is that simple. It just takes time. It takes practice. It takes effort. If you see the worth in it and you put the effort in, the rewards are there. Simple as that. Very simple transaction. It doesn't cost anything but a little time and a little effort. All right, so tomorrow is Sunday. We will do a deep dive class into Stars Fall to Earth, the fourth posture in the series. We'll look at that in depth, and there are actually no variations I'm aware of in the posture, but we'll look at the stance and the weight shifting and so forth, and how to get the most of that posture for your practice. And then we'll resume again Monday like usual, 8 a.m. Central Standard Time with the classes, and proceed from there. Do keep in mind, as we said, I've already got a couple of votes in for what to do in terms of the furtherance of the Healthy at AMoA programming. As far as I'm concerned, as far as my teaching is concerned, we have 2 votes in already for learning a simplified Tai Chi form, probably a Sun 6 or Sun 8 form, a very, very straightforward, simple Tai Chi form. We will probably, if we're able to do it, if we get the approval from the museum and from the grantees or the grantors to teach the class, it will probably be a series of classes, probably 6 to 8 weeks long, once a week, 1 hour at a time, and we'll learn the entire form together. It may be a little quick, but we will get the whole thing through, and you'll have at your disposal one more tool in your toolbox. You'll have a complete Tai Chi form. If you have any other ideas, if you want to look into different Qi Gong styles, which some of the Qi Gong styles are extremely complicated and very, very physical and very like Tai Chi. If there's another mindfulness practice you're curious about, let us know. Let me know through messages here, through the chat, through the direct message system on Facebook. You can talk to the museum. Any of the museum folks will be glad to get the word up to Catherine, and we'll be able to present a unified idea to them soon, and then we'll get the process going of looking at the grants and so forth, and we will move forward if possible. So if you have any input, please let us know. We're looking to grow, and this is for you. This would remain a free class, like the Qigong class and like the yoga. So if you have input, please tell us. Your input is greatly appreciated and is very necessary. We will continue classes here in the museum, in person, masked, and distance, of course, every Saturday morning, 10:30 a.m., thanks to Rapid Regional Medical Center and their generous grant, and of course the museum for our beautiful gallery to work out in. Remember, keep practicing. Don't be hard on yourself. Don't beat yourself up when you miss it. But when you can, practice, stay with it, reap the benefits. Thank you for being here. And thank you for being here. And I hope you continue to be safe and remain well.